All right, we've got a lot to get to this morning, but first we want to get you caught up on the confirmed cases of coronavirus we are now seeing.
This morning, there are now 70 cases here in North Carolina, and that is 10 more than this time yesterday. Just to give you some context and perspective, we made a map here. This shows you where people are being treated for this virus across the state. So if you look, you can see that Mecklenburg County is now treating 14 people. That is by far the most amount of coronavirus patients in the Channel 9 viewing area. And if you look here down in South Carolina, they're now up to 60 cases being reported there. Yesterday, that number was 47. So we're continuing to see that rise, and that 60, that number in South Carolina does include 3 right here in our viewing area as well. The federal government wants to help people and businesses that are hit hard by the outbreak.
Yeah, a lot has happened in the last few hours, so we want to get you up to speed on what is being done right now to protect you and your family. Last night, President Donald Trump signed a coronavirus relief package into law. That package includes free coronavirus testing for people who need it and paid emergency leave from work, among a lot of other things. And breaking news overnight, this video from Las Vegas's International Airport. A control tower there is closed right now after one of the air traffic controllers potentially tested positive for coronavirus. Also new this morning, we are learning more about 2 naval medical ships to help sick Americans. Defense Secretary Mark Esper says that these ships, named Mercy and Comfort, will provide 2,000 hospital beds, but they will not be used to treat coronavirus patients. Instead, they will take in people with other injuries or illnesses so that hospitals on the ground can take in more coronavirus patients.
It's a way of opening up rooms. It's a different approach, but we want to make all that available so that we're doing everything we can to help the American people.
And while you were sleeping, look at this. We have been keeping a close eye on Wall Street futures overnight, as so many of you have as well. And you can see right now the Dow, it is now trending up. Looks like it's up 70 points. You've got the NASDAQ also up about 72 points. We're going to continue keeping an eye on this morning, and we'll let you know about any major changes out there. We know so many people are watching their finances. Also, one more note about Wall Street. A big change is ahead for the New York Stock Exchange. Starting on Monday, the trading floor will be empty, and all trading will be done electronically. This is due to the coronavirus outbreak. Just so many changes, and a lot of the dire warnings surrounding the coronavirus, they're now being directed toward elderly people and those with underlying health conditions.
But now it is showing signs that it will not discriminate based on age, and we understand this is likely a surprise to many of you. Reporter Anthony Costura is live in South End right now. And Anthony, health officials in Europe are treating more and more young people, and their conditions are serious.
That's right, Susanna. And now top health officials here are concerned we could see a similar trend within young people. Already, the governors of North and South Carolina have banned people from sitting inside bars and restaurants like these places here in South End, a really popular place for so many of us. But experts say that is because those large gatherings can actually really help transmit that disease and really endanger a lot of other people as well. We also know that health officials are saying that we could see a spike in younger generations as well with this virus because they're not adhering to some of the guidelines that we have been talking about. I want you to take a look at this video that we got overnight from Miami. You can see just this beach is packed with young people. Many of them are young and on spring break. Some beaches in Florida have since closed for safety reasons, but the sentiment from young people is still the same.
I feel like we shouldn't change our lifestyles necessarily just because of corona, especially because it hasn't been affecting younger people. I think that's why we don't take it seriously.
We're asking the younger generations to stop going out in public places, to bars and restaurants, and spreading asymptomatic virus onto countertops and knobs and grocery stores and grocery carts.
The key takeaway this morning is that millennials are not invincible. It's also really important to note that social distancing that we've been talking about is critical until this threat passes. Susanna?
Yeah, Anthony, you know what? Just another example that we've seen of why it is crucially important that we heed the advice and suggestions, excuse me, of officials. Anthony, thank you.
Yeah, it really kind of makes you upset to think that people are not doing what they're supposed to do. We've told you that the Mecklenburg County Health Director says that we are having to move toward possibly having to shelter in place much quicker than we would like. We do not like seeing these interruptions, but here we are. Gibby Harris says that we have entered the community spread phase. And because of that, new restrictions will have to be considered. As County Health Director, Harris says that she has the authority to issue the shelter-in-place order if she needs to.
The difference we have in North Carolina is what happens in Mecklenburg isn't necessarily what's happening in a number of the other counties in North Carolina. So we have to pay attention to what's actually happening here and making sure that we're caring for our community.
Health Director Harris says that the county is taking everything day by day, and shelter-in-place orders, they are starting to be enacted all across the country. So we want to explain what that would mean for us. Okay, there is a difference between shelter-in-place and lockdown. With a lockdown, you are forbidden to leave your home, and a shelter-in-place order directs people to stay inside, but essential businesses like grocery stores and pharmacies will remain open.
Well, this is certainly a huge relief for parents in Burke County. Today, the school district will open 5 daycares to help parents. District Superintendent says this will help those people working essential jobs at hospitals and the Department of Public Safety. These daycares will open from 6 a.m. to 6 p.m. at this list of elementary schools: Drexel, Hildebrand, Mountain View, Salem, and W.A. Young. It'll cost $15 a day, and you do have to give them cash or a check each morning. Now, Channel 9 has been staying in contact with daycares across our viewing area to see if they're staying open or closing during this time. Our Greg Suskin stopped by Sugar and Spice Daycare in Rock Hill yesterday and saw a sign on the door telling parents that they will stay open until the governor orders them to close. Others have closed over concerns about spreading the virus. Several child care centers we've spoken to say they're focusing on hygiene and asking parents not to bring in sick children.
And American Airlines, which employs thousands of people at its Charlotte hub, is now offering most employees unpaid leave as it tries to lower costs amid a drastic drop in flights. The Dallas Business Journal reports that American sent a letter to employees this week detailing 2 different leave options. Voluntary leave of absence allows employees to take a 3, 6, or 12-month leave. They are still eligible for their medical, dental, vision, and life insurance. The voluntary early out programs is for employees with at least 15 years of seniority. It is a permanent separation from American. Employees can get 2 years of medical, dental, and vision insurance benefits.
Researchers right here in the Carolinas are now working to create a vaccine for the coronavirus. Heat Biologics in Durham is collaborating with the University of Miami, but this is not a quick process. They're working on what they call a smart bomb to fight the coronavirus. They say the issue with the virus is figuring out how it infects someone and then how it replicates. The Durham researchers are focusing on how to generate immunity to the virus.
We hijacked a normal protein to deliver this code, if you will. And the code, you can think of it as a barcode that your white blood cells eventually then can go around and find that viral infection if it is present in a cell, in one of your cells, and then go in and extinguish it. So it's kind of a smart bomb, if you will.
Now, researchers and developers have been straight up about this. Developing a vaccine takes time, a year to 18 months. Researchers say what they want to do is not rush this, but make sure the work that they do is safe.
Tonka, come. Look, baby, look. Who is that? That's Aunt Laura.
Oh man, we love this story here. A Great Dane in Texas isn't letting a quarantine at a senior living facility stop him from brightening up the residents' day. We all need to see good stories like this. Tonka's therapy visits were suspended last week during the nationwide coronavirus quarantine. Well, his handler decided to bring him back so that residents could see him, even if it was outside of their windows. Some residents even had signs for the dog. Look at that. You can see one. Oh, that one says, "Tonka, I miss you."
Certainly it's a safe space with the window as a barrier, just walking around the outside. And so we're so excited to be able to just make him smile today.
Look at, I love the sign. I mean, they were ready. They really miss Tonka. The handler says that she's going to keep bringing Tonka around the facility on the outside of it until they can enter again. But you got to love that. I mean, you saw the dog barking and the residents, they had the balloons.
You know, humans are great, but there's just something about dogs and even cats. Just brightens your day.
And the connection, right?
Absolutely.
That's really neat.
All right.